something you can't fix.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
It's Jay and Adam. It's Preview.
It's Preview's Fix It with Adam and Jay.
Hey, peaches! Welcome to Fix It, where friends don't let friends fix pop culture alone.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay, and you're our listener.
Well, hey there, listeners.
Howdy ho, listeners. Gather around the fire where Grandpa Jay and Uncle Adam teach you about how all the bad movies we've fixed.
You ready for a spooky, scary Fix It?
Yeah.
Because it's Halloween week.
It's Halloween!
Ooh,
Spooky ghosts!
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
Yes!
It's Fix It.
I ate 3 pumpkins before we started this podcast.
Oh my God.
That's pretty spooky, right?
That is pretty spooky.
Brian said that we should be spooky for this one, and that's the spookiest I could get.
Eating 3 pumpkins.
Oh yeah, I loaned a ghost $400.
You're never gonna get that back.
I know.
Well, you never don't lend the
pretty
supernatural
scary,
money.
So, this economy pretty scary. I let the creature from the Black Lagoon borrow my car.
Oh no!
Oh man, there's gonna be so much water damage.
You're gonna find that thing in a lake. I'm sorry, a lagoon.
In Lagoon. Welcome to Fix It. The spooky Halloween edition. Where if it's your first time tuning in, I'm Jay. That's Adam. We are the 2 co-hosts of the absolute juggernaut, the runaway, the answer to all of your dark machinations. Level powerful of a YouTube reaction channel, Previewed on YouTube. We host that where we watch stuff and people watch us watch it, and isn't that so spooky? I mean, technically, if you really write it down on paper, kinda yeah.
A little bit. Everyone's saying The Watcher is really scary and we should watch it. I was like, no, thank you. My mom got 2 episodes in and she's like, I'm out.
Oh yeah.
No thanks. Not for my mom.
Yeah, no thanks.
No, thank you.
But yeah, you may know us from our YouTube channel, Previewed. And if it's your first time watching and or listening and or all of the things to this podcast, every week we take a show that maybe missed the mark, maybe didn't quite get there, maybe definitely needs some help, and we fix it.
Or we try to do our best.
And we do our damnedest.
To be honest, though, Jay, this is what, episode 13 or 14 or so, and I think we fixed everything so far.
I think we pretty much nailed it. We
could change this podcast to Nailed It. That's not taken, right? That's a name that's free. That's a free name. That's free, right?
Let me double check.
Yeah, get on that, Brian.
Yeah.
Make sure Is Nailed It free? Because I think we get new podcasts.
Use it.
Great.
Also, you want to hear something crazy?
I do.
This is our 13th episode.
Oh, spooky!
I hate you. Brian, our producer, is in studio today. Damn it, Brian.
It's more fun when he's here, so we switched it to Sunday nights when he's here. When Jay's the most tired, and I am the most rested.
This week, because it's our spookiest episode, I'm not saying it in a spooky way anymore.
No?
We're fixing 2017's reboot and attempted universe starter, The Mummy.
It's really bad.
It swung very hard, and it really just caught air. It really didn't connect with really much of anybody. They really were hoping for something big with this one, and they didn't quite get there.
It really did. I mean, to be honest, I didn't see the movie when it first came out, and the only thing I remember from when this movie did come out was the trailer that they put up on YouTube that had none of the audio and just the practice audio or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That was just the That was it. That was the only audio in the plane crash scene. And it was one of the biggest mistakes of an upload on YouTube in YouTube history.
Is that still up? Do they have it somewhere?
Well, it's the internet, so it definitely is somewhere.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure Universal did their damnedest to scrub that off of YouTube. But
yeah,
people do put it up. It is available online somewhere. You can find it. It is. I don't even know if it's Tom Cruise's audio or if it's an ADR or something, but it's somebody doing over Tom Cruise crashing in the airplane.
yeah.
So it's very funny.
Because it's gotten to the point now where in Tom Cruise's rider for doing a movie, he has to run.
Mm-hmm.
He has to run real good.
Well, he's always been a good runner.
Yes. But they always set it up where he does the I just think somewhere out there, in Tom Cruise's past, someone beat him in a foot race and really just verbally dunked on him often to the point where he's like, everyone's gonna know I'm fast. They're all gonna think I'm fast.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. Little plane go fast. Little man go faster.
Well, I don't. To be honest, I've known about Tom Cruise running since the first Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah.
There was something about the first Mission Impossible when I think it was the middle of Act 1 when he's figuring out everyone else is dead and he's trying to figure out what the heck's going on, and he runs away from the cafe or something like that, and it's just a shot of him running away from cameras. Damn, Tom Cruise can run. What the heck? Whoa! And then all of a sudden, every Tom Cruise movie after that, there might have been some before, but he wasn't really running in Top Gun. But every movie after that, it's man, Tom Cruise is just running.
He loves to run.
He loves to run.
He loves it. But also in his rider now, I feel like there are plane stunts are also part of it. He's got plane stunts in every movie. In the plane sequence in this where they're rotating around, there were certain moments where I was like, I don't know how they got that shot. This is really cool.
They could have put that on a giant gimbal.
That's still really impressive.
Oh, absolutely.
You got a big gimbal? How big's your gimbal? You got any gimbals?
I know. Like my Jib J. It's pretty big.
That's the next thing. Hey, support our Patreon. We're trying to buy a gimbal.
We'll strap in and we'll react to things mid gimbal.
Whoa!
Just our hair just kind of starts. Whoa!
Previewed in 4D. Jay, how would you rate this trailer?
Or it could be an Inception type of deal. We're sleeping in one reality, and then in the van that's flipping over, but we're actually doing the preview in the next level down.
Yeah.
So everything's spinning.
Yeah. And then when you go to another level down, you realize that we're Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party. We've been them the whole time.
Oh my God! Surprise! What a twist!
What a twist!
Didn't see that coming.
Didn't see that coming.
That guy was Sauron the whole time.
That guy
Oh
was
my God!
Sauron the whole time. Oh man, it was just Bruce Willis that whole movie. It's crazy.
But before we get any further into the horribleness that is the one movie of the Dark Universe, hey Jay, how you doing?
I'm good. I had a really nice weekend. My mother-in-law came to visit, and which was great, and we got to see. Sometimes you need an excuse to go see Broadway shows.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's yes, we live in New York, and they're here, and everyone's like, why aren't you going all the time? It's well, they're quite expensive, and honestly, sometimes it's also just hard to be somewhere at 7. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's a hard cutoff kind of thing. So it's it's not as easy as it. You need an excuse. And my mother-in-law coming in town, perfect excuse to see some Broadway shows. Saw Into the Woods.
Okay.
Which, if you're a theater person in any way, and you have the means or the ability to get to New York to see it, see it before it goes.
Yeah, it's going somewhere, right?
What do you mean? It's technically a limited engagement. They just keep extending it.
Oh, okay.
But
no longer.
I believe it's gonna end. Is it open, Brian?
No, it's not open. I believe it's ending in January.
Oh, it's ending in January.
Yeah.
Before then, I would highly recommend seeing it. You really see the creme de la creme of Broadway performers, just knocking a pretty a classic show, just bodying it, just knocking it out of the park. It was very rarely do you see a Broadway show and I'm like, oh, this is going to be one of those shows that when people are like, oh, you've seen a lot of Broadway, did 20 years ago, did you see The End of the Woods? I'm like, of course I did. I'm so cool.
I found an excuse, and I went.
Yeah. Also, and we were telling Amanda this earlier, the best kept secret.
Sure.
As per their equity agreement with the production, the first 2 rows have to remain masked.
Oh, that's good.
But because of that, because I think they were having a harder time selling those tickets.
Really?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are over it, especially people coming to see shows in New York. But they're like significantly cheaper.
Hey, that's great.
And it's the first 2 rows.
Yeah.
So like, heck yeah.
You can look up everyone's nose.
Yeah, it's like the best kept secret in New York right now. Because I was like, I wore a mask the whole time and I paid full price, so I don't.
Nice.
Whatever. And then we also saw Janine Tesori's new show, Kimberly Akimbo, which is in previews right now.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no way you would know what it is.
I have no idea.
No, it's like, but it was refreshing because it was a show that I knew really nothing about.
Okay.
And it was like nice going in to see like something completely new.
Sure.
Which in Broadway right now is kind of hard to do. It's a lot of revivals. It's a lot of stuff that's already been done before. So it's like, which is fine. I want to see that, but obviously sometimes it's nice to have like a fresh voice to something.
Yeah. And how was that?
It was excellent. It was the musical equivalent of a great indie comedy, like a Little Miss Sunshine kind of vibe.
Oh, okay.
Is it the most artistically best movie I've ever seen? No. But did I really enjoy myself watching it? And like, was it charming? Yes.
Well, that's nice.
I think I've gotten into a mindset ever since Hamilton kind of entered the scene that I expect a lot of these shows to kind of like blow my gourd out a little bit. But it was nice to just like, I got to a moment where I was like, oh, well, like this song, does this really connect to like the through line and blah, blah, blah. And I finally was just like, yeah, but did you like the song, Jay? I was like, yeah, it was really cute. I'm like, then keep moving,
good.
bud.
Yep.
Then keep moving. It was nice to kind of like just enjoy. I gave myself permission to just enjoy something, which
nice.
I haven't been able to do in a while.
Aw.
No, but I mean, I guess that's also when it's a new product. You don't have to like go into. There's no comparison to anything, so it's like you kind of just take it as it comes. I don't know, but it was just nice to see some theater.
Sure.
Oof, I missed it. I missed it a lot. I didn't realize how much I missed it, but yeah,
that's good.
But other than that, life's good. We're clacking along.
Yeah, we are.
Woo woo.
We're moving right along. So much so that we totally forgot about Black Adam came out on Friday.
Yeah.
But
I will say this. You know who also I think forgot? Most people. Because I looked at the comments today. Do you know what I didn't see in any of the comments?
Yeah,
where's your Black Adam review?
Yeah. When we were playing Mario Party with the movie couple last week, and Wendy was like, hey, I saw Black Adam early. In my head, I just like, oh wow, you saw that a couple weeks early. That's
I
insane.
literally thought the exact same
Oh wow,
thing.
I wonder why they put it out a couple. They showed it, or showed people a couple weeks ahead of time. That's interesting. Oh cool. Well, I look forward to when that movie comes out. Just didn't even connect
exactly
that it was coming out this Friday.
Yep.
And yeah, I was like, great. We should go see that. When would we go see that? Well, I guess we'll find time eventually. It's very weird. Like I wanted, but like there's no. But Black Panther comes out. Wakanda Forever comes out in 2 weeks. That I know for a fact.
Yeah.
So like
we need to get our tickets for that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense. Of course, Black Adam would come out with as much time between it and Wakanda Forever, because like they would get subsumed by them immediately.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that really just felt like it snuck out. And apparently people are like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So we'll see it eventually. Or maybe we should see it sooner. Maybe it needs to get fixed. I don't know.
That is a very real possibility.
That's
that
a good excuse to go to the theater, Jay.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Shall we fix the mummy?
Somebody's got to.
This movie. I did, again, another watch along with the Peaches on this one. I will say, having rewatched it, I didn't necessarily hate it as much as I thought I was going to.
You saw it when it first came out, right?
I watched it right when it came to video or streaming or whatever.
Oh, okay.
like right when it came to like HBO Max or something to that effect.
It's equivalent back in the day.
Whatever it was.
Because this movie currently is not streaming anywhere.
It's not streaming anywhere.
It's not. It's on no platform.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to rent it on Amazon, but like it's not on any service right now. It's just
Which is insane for a movie of this caliber to not be streaming.
a movie that was out 5 years ago is not on a streaming service. That's insane.
It's unfathomable, quite frankly. Like the thing is like you could get people to watch this on the Tuesday night when they're just like, screw it, I'll watch this mummy movie, whatever. Sure. And there are some cool stunts in this. There are some cool moments. Like, if anything, this movie's like biggest sin is that it's just like only kind of mediocre. Like, this movie like wasn't as bad as I remember it, but all of the good, like any of the good stuff, is just in a wash of gray.
Yes.
In a way that it's like hard to pick any of it out. Like, it's not, this movie doesn't necessarily have like, in my heart, doesn't have a black mark. It just has it's like television fuzz.
Oh, geez. Okay. So almost like it doesn't even register at all.
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
I know.
Ooh.
I know. Because like the thing is that like when we did a watch long of Hellboy, and like there was at least stuff to dunk on.
Sure.
This movie, I was just like,
This is invoking no emotion from me.
Yeah, every time like you see someone like, I guess I see what they're going for. Okay.
I guess.
Okay. Sure.
So I watched it for the first time on Monday.
Okay.
And I hated it. Like, this movie's bad. Like, from just the concept alone is bad. Tom Cruise is not bad in this movie, but Tom Cruise is miscast in this movie.
Well, because Tom Cruise you are signing up for a completely different thing when you cast Tom Cruise as the lead in your movie.
Yes.
When you're also the lead in the movie, we've gotten to a point now where like the lead of the movie or the leads are almost also responsible in their own way for the marketing of said film. Mm-hmm. And Tom Cruise takes, to his credit, and it's partially why he's built his brand so strongly as he has, is that he's very good at marketing the stuff that he is in.
He's very good.
And he marketed the hell out of this movie, but he marketed it as a Mission Impossible film with mummies. And that's not... It just...
I don't even remember the marketing
when
for
Tom
this.
Cruise gets attached to something, that's kind of what it starts to feel like.
Sure.
And the action sequences... They're very well executed. Yeah. They just lack of, this movie could have used a certain level of humor that this movie had none of.
Well, I think that is partially Tom Cruise's fault, because they wrote the character, and because the dialogue is, they're trying so hard to make the guy whose name I can't even remember.
His name is Nick.
Is it Nick? Nick. Because I thought the other guy's name is Nick.
No, the other guy's name is Nick. In New Girl.
Yes.
So it's really confusing because like Jake Johnson in my head his name is Nick. Like we were like, like Jake Johnson. I'm like, oh, Nick.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Nick. Yeah. I love Nick.
Yes.
He's hilarious.
Nick's dead. Nick's dead real soon. They keep trying to, the dialogue is like trying to be Brendan Fraser from The Mummy, and it's like but it's Tom Cruise saying these lines, and Tom Cruise is a very talented actor, but that kind of like, I don't know, charm, but that kind of, what am I trying to say? What's the roguish charm?
He has none.
He doesn't have that. He's a leading man.
When he's were you talking about this, or was it with Brian? I can't remember. When he's talking about like, I lasted longer than that. It's like, I hate this.
Yeah, Tom Cruise doesn't talk about this.
This isn't funny.
No.
This isn't funny. This actually means like, no, I timed myself. I wrote it in my diary. Yes. I can show you.
Nathan Fillion could pull this off.
Yes.
Tom Cruise can't, because Tom Cruise
100%.
is just, his star is too bright.
It's too bright.
He does not play the rogue well.
No.
Because he's not roguish.
No.
He just doesn't, doesn't have it.
It's all right across the plate. There's no mystery to him.
Yeah.
There's no play. Like anytime like Tom Cruise like is like, haha, and he smiles, it's like, you just get a whiff of the Scientology in it, and you go, I don't trust it. I don't like it. Tom
Cruise is a very serious person,
and we're all about cults here. It's not about him being in a cult. We're on board with cults. But yeah, you heard it here first.
Oh
sir.
boy, mom, it's okay. No, mom, it's okay. Jay is just kidding. But he just doesn't. He's not. It doesn't work. It doesn't work with him being the lead. Somebody else needs to be the lead of this movie.
Yes, 1,000%. Like, who from that time frame is like
only 5 years ago. So like, who could? I mean, there's plenty of. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who would be like a good. Because here's the other problem, though.
Chris Evans? Easy, done.
He was busy.
He was obviously busy, but I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of the type.
But the problem is that they also were trying to use this movie to set up the Dark Universe.
Yes.
Which was a mistake.
Mistake.
Oh no!
Did
oh no!
you
Oh no!
say
I didn't.
steak?
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Did
Let's
you
no,
say
stop! Everyone stop! No.
Did you say steak?
Damn it!
Did you know that what you were doing there?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You said it so dramatically.
I know.
You really looked me in the eyes and said mistake.
Between the miss
I
and
thought you were
mistake,
doing a bit.
I realized that I had made a mistake.
Man, Brian, you made Brian almost leap out of his seat.
The second I heard him say miss, and I was like, here we go.
Clack, clack. Go get him, boys.
They went. I don't remember the marketing for this movie, but I remember the marketing for the Dark Universe.
Yeah.
Like, here's the main cast of, or like the main players of this new, like, it was Tom Cruise. It was what's his name, who plays Jekyll and Hyde, and other people. And I was like, why are they telling us this information now before the first movie? This is a bad idea.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
What bums me out the most about it not working out is that I think a reboot of Universal Monsters for a quote-unquote dark universe kind of thing, I think it's a great idea.
Really?
I think it could have been really, really cool. I think it could have been really neat. It could have been a chance for Universal to take a look back at their catalog of what they have and kind of like rejoice in like the filmmaking that they've had that they have taken part in.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, Universal doesn't necessarily, they're not quite the Disney, quote unquote, but like this is one thing that like they've made their mark on, like on filmmaking in this regard.
They've done two things
So
really well.
It would have been really cool for them as a company to be like, oh, like, and it actually goes into my fix of like, I think this could have been really neat.
Yeah.
And it just, and there are certain aspects to when they're at the bureau there that are kind of fun.
But before we get too far,
I
think before we keep going any further, I think this is a really good time for Brian to slide on into my chair and tell us more about
your chair, huh?
Yeah, into my chair as I vacate it.
I don't know. You just said that weird.
I was gonna say like slide into my DMs, but that doesn't.
That's kind of where I thought
we
you
text
were
all
going.
the time. And tell us more about how the Dark Universe failed, and or how this movie failed.
I think so.
Because that would help the
All right, so
conversation.
you gotta.
Forward.
If he's sliding into your chair, you gotta be the one to call it.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Brian.
Yes!
Oh, you scared the hell out of you.
It's a spooky episode.
It's a spooky episode. It's a spooky.
Okay, all right. Beautiful fun fact footage. Blah 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 blah.
Brian, roll that beautiful bean fun fact footage.
Thank you, gentlemen. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Get out of here.
So, today we are trying to fix 2017's The Mummy, directed by writer Alex Kurtzman and written by too many people. This movie stars Tom Cruise, Sophia Boutella, Annabelle Wallis, Russell Crowe, Jake Nick, and Courtney B. Vance. This movie made $410 million. But between production and marketing costs, the budget was around $345 million. So to break even, it basically still lost like $100 million. Tom Cruise did win Best Actor for this at the Razzies.
Wow.
Yeah. So Tom Cruise had full control of production and post-production of this movie. If you're watching it, you could probably guess that.
Yeah.
Now, getting into the Rotten Tomatoes, I think this is very interesting. This is a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes if you care. The original Mummy from 1932 has an 89%.
Wow.
The Mummy from 99, the great one, actually only has a 61%.
What?
Yeah, which is wild.
It's like when you find out that Hook was a financial failure.
Disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Hook was like Spielberg's biggest flop.
Holy crap.
Then you have The Mummy Returns, which has a 47%, and then Tomb of the Dragon Emperor has a 13%. If you care. And then the Scorpion King movie has a 41%, if we're just talking mummy movies.
It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine. I liked it.
Of course, the best mummy movie is Bubba Hotep, but, that's for another... So as Adam mentioned, this was trying to create a dark universe. What does that mean? That means that they cast all these actors before making the movies. And they did a big, huge photo shoot where none of the actors were in the same room and it's all edited together, make it look like they were in the same room.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Okay, so you had Tom Cruise, like, within the Mummy universe.
Yeah.
Then you had Johnny Depp in the Invisible Man universe.
Oh, that's right.
Then you had Javier Bardem in I believe the Wolfman universe, maybe?
Didn't they make that Wolfman
No,
movie?
that's with Benicio del Toro.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Or maybe he was going to be Frankenstein. I don't
We
remember.
saw that movie together. That movie was bad.
It was very bad. But fun. Some of the transformations are fun, but it's bad in general. Angelina Jolie as the bride of Frankenstein. And then everything just fell apart when this movie didn't go well. However, they were talking at the time, they don't mention it anymore, but that Dracula Untold movie with Luke Evans was actually supposed to be like retroactively the first movie in the Dark Universe, but they don't even talk about that one anymore. So those are kind of like the high points of Dark Universe stuff, and then it failed and they didn't keep doing it. Now what Universal does is they're just doing the one-offs. So if you haven't, you should all see the Invisible Man remake that they just did with Elizabeth Moss.
I heard it's really scary.
Spectacular.
That was Blumhouse, though, right?
But I don't know if it was Blumhouse, but Universal still has the rights to that character.
Oh, okay.
So it was a Universal movie.
Okay.
So you have that. And then, of course, the greatest of all monster movies, starring all these monsters, is, of course, 1987's The Monster Squad. Great film. No fixing here.
Yeah.
And then, just so if you want to know...
Wait, I'm sorry, but we need to hold on that real quick. Hi, everybody. Two shot. Did you guys see in the other... three shot. Did you guys see in the other two shot here that Jake sighed audibly when he mentioned the Monster Squad? I think we both love Monster Squad. And you don't even, don't know what it is or hate it.
No, I made him watch it.
He's made me watch Monster Squad.
You don't like Monster Squad?
I don't... Look, Monster Squad is fine. But the way that both of you light up when anyone has ever mentioned the Monster Squad...
Yeah, Wolfman's Got Nards, baby. Yeah,
it is... Werewolf's Got Nards. It is not warranted in any way. It is like a Disney Channel original movie level of movie.
A Disney Channel movie would never say, "Give me the amulet,
you bitch." To a little girl.
Yes.
To a little girl.
I cry every time I watch the movie when
It's so
Frankenstein
good.
at the end goes, "Bogus, Phoebe." I love it. Great. Anyway,
How dare you, sir? Don't besmirch Monster Squad.
but
I'll even do it on our spooky episode. Monster Squad sucks. Boo. Boo. Spooky. Monster Squad's bad.
and to Adam's point earlier, Tom Cruise has run in 42 of his films. 42 of whatever it is, 50 something now. So not included in that are movies like Valkyrie, movies like Tropic Thunder, and yes, he does not run in the original Top Gun, but he runs twice in Top Gun Maverick.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers,
I still haven't
he
seen it
runs
yet.
twice. Oh man, it's spectacular.
I heard. I just
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet.
Cool. And if you want a podcast where we actually watch scary movies, check out Talking Horror with
Get
Jamie
out
and
of
Nikki. What are you doing?
over.
Here's the other big thing about this movie. There's no mummy in it.
There's no mummy.
She's a lich, Jay.
Oh, that's what mummies are.
No,
You've brought this up numerous times as we've talked about
because it's supposed to be a mummy. The movie's called The Mummy.
I understand.
Even
you got mummified.
No, we didn't.
It's the same difference. Dude.
No,
She's a mummy.
I say
don't
the
know.
no.
I think we're gonna.
She has control over the dead. She just can reanimate stuff just cause.
Yeah, but
there's no
liches
book.
are not.
There's no book like the other movies where he had to actually read stuff and like actually animate the dead. Like, no, she can just do it. She's a goddamn lich. If she were gonna be a lich, then be a lich. Mummy's got too many powers nowadays.
She was mummified.
Mummy's got too many powers.
Yeah, what?
Mummies have too much power. Seize the means of mummification.
I know. She was mummified and then came back. I think that's like textbook mummy. I just think that's mummies, and that's fine. We can move on.
I disagree. I think a mummy is
is a lich to a lich is a mummy. I think it's a rectangle and square situation.
I think mummy is a different power set than lich.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't cross. I mean, they can have. And here's the thing. I went back and looked at the old plots of the original Universal Monster movies, and the first one they ever made was remade in the '97 film, which I didn't even realize. It was just a basic remake. Well, all the same characters. Well, not the heroes, but like the bad guy was the same mummy. I was like, oh, that's in the same plot of like having to take out the four guys that like freed him. Like, oh, that's okay. That's fine. That's a good fine
Sure.
power set.
Yeah.
But like this is just like she's exploding glass. They have power to start like sandstorms like this. There's too much
In London of all places.
Yeah, it's just glass is sand. I don't know. It's just in control of birds and animal handling. It's just she's OP from the beginning.
Yeah. I just don't know why we're arguing a bad guys. Like that's how big bads work, man.
But it's supposed to be a mummy where
She's also real good at barfing up mercury. Oh, I hated that. Honestly, that's the only thing that scene that shot was evocative and not in a way I enjoyed. Oh. I was like, whoa! Whoever did the Foley work of mercury barf was like pretty. I was like, oh, I think that's what that actually sounds like. They actually had someone barf up mercury to get that sound, and I don't like it one bit. I thought she was the mummy was cool.
Really?
Yeah. Also, you got to see some boobies in this movie too, which frustrates me in the very beginning when she's like, which frustrates me in a movie that I'm not enjoying when you see nudity and you're like, oh, man, just don't. Now I feel even worse. I'm like, you got naked for this? This sucks. I was like, that wasn't worth it at all. I
think about that all the time. Like, when I see nudity in a bad movie, I'm like, bad contract.
Yeah. You're kind of hoping your parents don't see this one, huh?
Oh, here's another power that this mummy had. She has the same power as Viggo the Carpathian in this movie.
And that she's a spooky painting?
In that she was able to somehow curse... That's pretty funny. She can curse Tom Cruise just by looking at him.
Yeah, okay.
It's dumb. What I'm saying is dumb. I'm saying it's dumb.
Okay.
Because and then Nick gets bit by a camel spider.
I just never question magic. It's just magic.
No, Jay, it's got rules. We both like the Dresden stuff. There are rules.
Yeah, but I understand. But they get like that. Those books get off on giving me the rules. In movies and stuff, I'm like, they're mummy, whatever. No, I get it. I understand.
It's a mummy-free pass. Have all the powers?
It's a monster mummy. Yeah, they're spooky. They embrace the power of darkness. Like she's trying to turn Tom Cruise into a dark Egyptian god.
Yes.
So like at that point, I think it's whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. And she made that guy, and she possessed that spider and made that go into the guy's ear, and then made him go light himself on fire with an accident.
It's
it
so
was stupid.
dumb.
It
It's
was really
so
stupid.
dumb. Nick turns real life Nick turns into a mummy on the plane, and like nobody questioned what was going on.
The one thing about about Jake Johnson's performance as a mummy was I really appreciated the casualness in which he was stabbing people. Like, it pans to him with, like, the corporal or whatever, and the corporal's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's just like, "Oh, hey, what's up?
I have a knife."
I'm gonna put a knife in your body. Like, and it's,
It is the slow knife.
it is the slow knife. It's the casual knife that goes right in the guts. Yeah, you don't have to sneak behind with the slow knife if you're just like, "Oh, what a knife? Ah, here you go." Get him in you. It was almost like, "What is this thing?
Do you know?
Do you want this?" I loved it. I like Jake Johnson as a zombie the whole time, or as like zombie visions to him,
I guess
was one of the best parts of the movie.
Okay.
That was great.
Sure.
His performance was
He
good.
seemed like he was having fun after he was dead.
Yeah.
And then after he came back to life off screen.
Yeah.
This whole movie's bad.
Yeah, I know.
But the only thing you liked about this movie was all the... What was the name of the organization that everyone was a part of? Like Post-Sternum or something like that?
The Dark Universe Collective, Duck. I don't remember. I'll look it up.
Oh, I was like, oh, that's what we're calling him now.
Mallard Squad.
Yeah, the Mallard Squad. The Duck Squad.
But yeah, no, you liked that part when Jekyll came in and he was like, "Hey, here's all the cool Bond
I think
stuff."
that's a fun way to start a dark universe. I think the idea conceptually is sound.
Sure. Prodigium.
Was that really that is bad?
Yes.
That is
Welcome to our secret organization that
Bad.
hunts monsters. Progenium.
prodigium.
Progenium. Only half the people. Quack.
The Duck Squad.
Only half the people who work here can actually pronounce the name of this organization.
I thought
Prodigium.
what's his name? Why can't I think of his name right now?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. I thought Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was really good.
Sure.
I thought that was cool. I thought his Ed Hyde was like really, or Fred.
No, it was Ed. It was Edward Hyde. Yeah.
I think his Hyde was really like that. That was really fun. I don't know why he wouldn't just tell new people, being like, "Hi, I put this in me so I don't become a monster. Maybe make sure I continue to have this." I don't know why he's like being all coy while still injecting himself with the 4 of the biggest needles I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know why if you're not coy enough to hide yourself doing it.
You got to make sure those needles get in there, Jay.
Yeah.
So I guess I hated it because I don't think you should be building a franchise in the middle of a movie. It should come at the end. Because I think it takes away from the singular story we're trying to tell right now. Because that half hour was just like, why are we even here? Oh, just so this mummy lady can get out of this situation, so we can have the third act.
Yeah. And barf up a bunch of mercury.
And then control a spider that goes into a guy's ear. It's so just giving her more OP powers so she can like get a butt pulled and get out of the situation.
I mean,
this is lame.
Of her powers, I think you can agree. The best stunts / effects of this movie were just how hard she punched Tom Cruise a bunch of times. She punched him real good.
She did. Although the fight physics in this movie were a little
all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were a little all over the place.
When they were stunt heavy and like action driven, they were just kind of like regular action sequences. And then when you would fight like with the mummy, it was like, oh, wow, oh, goo, no, I hate it.
And everything, all the action sequences always ended in a kiss. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I guess they did.
They all end up with a soul-sucking kiss. It's the slow kiss. It's the slow tongue you'd ever see coming.
Yeah.
He beat the bad guy with a kiss, Jay.
Yeah.
It's lame.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's real bad.
You're acting as if you're trying to have anything to convince me of this.
I don't know. I feel like you like it too much. You know what it is?
I didn't like it. I just thought it wasn't. I don't know. It was at least watchable.
Oof. If you say so. I mean, yeah, it didn't register to you, but like for me, it's just like it's not even 100 minutes. It's not even 100 minutes.
Huh.
It's like this movie is not because especially because the 97 movie and even the Scorpion King is so fun and silly and dumb and awesome and stands the test of time. That like this movie's like, no, we're gonna redo and stuff, and this is how it's like. This movie is very bad, and also, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you, sir?
it just doesn't acknowledge its own history in any way.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Speaking of acknowledging our own histories, I've seen the absolute novel that you've written, and I'm thinking that we should probably
get to the part where we go over all of my paragraphs.
Behold the sacred Lashy text. Read this aloud and resurrect the mummy of storytelling.
I chiseled all these on in hieroglyphics on tablets just to make sure.
Man. Yeah,
so
man.
I got a stack of tablets outside.
Are you suddenly gonna know how to speak English? That was pretty stupid.
Was it as stupid as Apocalypse touching a TV screen in the 80s and being like, well, I'd have all of the Earth's knowledge in my head right now?
That's how TV works.
That's how TV works in the 80s, Jay.
Okay? They say it'll melt your brain. That's what it means. Too much information at once. Unless you're Apocalypse.
Unless you're Apocalypse.
Unless you're Apocalypse.
I'm Apocalypse, everybody.
Hi, what's up, guys?
I'm Apocalypse.
What's up, guys? It's me, Apocalypse.
I'm Apocalypse.
Hey, hope you guys like Subjugation.
Apocalypse is another mummy with too many powers. It's a conspiracy. I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy. Mummies have too many powers.
I think you just got, man, again.
I think you might
when
have
you
something
get too
here.
mad about mummies, it just feels I don't know. Feels like you got a paragraph or like a manifesto written somewhere.
I mean, I probably wrote about 500 words or so, maybe probably more than that for this.
I was gonna put money on the episode where Adam would lose it. Nowhere in my guess top 10 would be the 2017 Mummy episode.
Yeah. No, me neither. Me neither.
There were too many zombies.
There
were too many zombies.
I calmed him down, Brian.
This movie's not called The Mummy. There were zombies all over the place.
You could say those are mummies.
They're not mummies. They were zombies.
They're like more mummies.
No.
Kind of like mummies.
They were zombies.
They're powered.
They
by
were
mummies.
alive. They were then kissed to death, and they popped back up as a zombie. That's a zombie.
I just think they're mummies.
They're not mummies.
Sweet
You could make an argument for the Crusaders in the thing they in the tomb
they were mummies.
Maybe possibly
I
because
think
they were
like
in
mummies.
actual giant sarcophaguses with
like mummies.
Yes,
So they were mummies.
barely, maybe.
Okay.
But again, she was a lich, just reanimating the dead. So,
Okay.
just saying, it's BS.
But by your logic, then they shouldn't have called what's her name in Hellboy a witch because she was a lich and not a witch.
Yes,
Okay. But I didn't see you on your soapbox then.
the movie didn't get to me as much as this one did.
Okay, fair enough.
Because she was a lich.
All right. Adam,
Yes, Jay.
The Mummy, 2017. Fix it.
Okay. Okay. So it starts way back in 5,000 years ago in Egypt, and this guy shows up. He's like, "I'm Apocalypse." It's like,
Hey guys.
"Hey guys, I'm Apocalypse.
Hey,
I'm
guys.
Apocalypse.
What's up? It's me. I'm Chill Stoner Apocalypse.
I'm Apocalypse."
Oh, how'd you get here, Apocalypse? I took the 405 to La Brea.
Do you guys want to be like my horseman or something? I'm Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Okay, so
Sorry.
my real fix. I went.
So good at comedy.
I
We're
went.
so funny.
We're almost professionals at this. Almost. I went back and I looked at all the plots for the old original 1930s.
Me
movies.
too.
And so realizing that the first Mummy movie that was made in Universal in the 90s, was it 32 or something like that?
Correct.
You were correct.
Suck that. High five off screen. Hell yeah, man. Thanks, dude. So because that was the same plot as the 97 film, they took the same mummy was Imhotep. It was the same was the same mummy. So it was the same mummy. So it's like, you know what? Let's not do that again. Because at least in the 17 movie, like, you know what, new mummy. It's like, okay, that's fair because we did Imhotep twice in the 90s.
Okay.
So let's have a new mummy. Sure, great.
Okay.
So then I went back and I was like, oh, there's a bunch of sequels. What are these stories? Well, there's a different mummy in those sequel movies from the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So, and his name was Karis. So you know what? Let's use that guy. Let's use the sequels and bring those forward instead of just Imhotep.
Yeah.
So I went back and I cribbed some of the information from the sequel. Believe it's Tomb of the Mummy. That was like in the later 30s, a couple years after they made the first one. So that's basically.
You can only Google so fast, Adam. You're looking for an answer immediately.
1932 was the original Mummy. 1940 was the mummy's hand. 1942 was the mummy's tomb. 1944 two mummy movies, The Mummy's Ghost and The Mummy's Curse. And then 1955 had Abbott and Costello meet said mummy.
So, from the hand of the mummy.
Sure.
Using the information from that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
My favorite movie.
Hand of the Mummy.
Hand of the Mummy. Hand
Of
of
the
Mummy.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. So my real fix starts way back in ancient Egypt. We meet Karis. He's a handsome young man, and he's married to his young wife Annika, and they're very much in love. And they're poor, but like they're still happy, and everything for the most part is fine, until and we this is not a voiceover intro. Someone's not narrating this. We're gonna like actually go back and we're gonna see this guy's life for like 10 minutes of actually like see him and see his Annika and see the marriage and see how they're struggling because like we see how the Egypt is like under this pharaoh's rule. It's not great.
Man, like single cam, like Modern Family, but with like
It's a very long one shot.
Oh man, your brother-in-law's coming to stay for the weekend. It's me, Apocalypse. Sup? Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So we see that the class struggle, even in ancient Egypt, is very real. And on one day, the pharaohs is walking through town or whatever, and he spies Annika, and like, oh, she's super hot. She should join my harem. And she's like, excuse me, no, I'm in love with my husband. No, thank you. I don't want to be a part of this. Of course, the pharaoh takes umbrage, orders his guards to go find out where she lives, and then those guards murder her in front of Karis later that night.
Oh.
Yeah, it's bad. So now Karis is like, well, I don't have anything to live for now except vengeance. So he finds a way to be immortal, so he can just wipe out the pharaohs and the entire ruling class.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's done with this.
Class warfare.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
So he finds, in the movies back in the day, it was like Tana leaves. So he finds these Tana leaves and it becomes immortal and he becomes like one with the shadows. He can like travel through shadows and just be super hidden in shadows.
I think he's sounding a little overpowered.
That's his only power. He cannot raise the dead.
Okay.
And I even thought of that when I was writing this. I was like,
All right.
the mummy needs at least a power. He's getting one power.
So he has like tea leaf powers?
Yes.
Like a wuss?
Like a wuss. Like an underpowered mummy.
Yeah.
He got one power.
Sucks.
Shadow
I like my
powers.
powers. I like my mummies too many.
Sure. Well, then when you do your fix your power,
man.
your mummy.
Oh, you're going to Fuddruckers and just putting lettuce on your burger? I'm going to Fuddruckers. I'm getting all that shit. Give me all that mummy powers on
It's
my
a good
burger.
thing you can build your own burger at Fuddruckers. Fuddruckers, build your own burger and mummies. So
This podcast is not sponsored by Fuddruckers.
So Karis, now imbued with power from tea, starts just murking all of the pharaoh's families and stuff. He's just going through everybody. He's stabbing people out of the shadows. It's really super cool until they kind of figure out, wait a second, this guy's using the shadows to attack us. They trap him in like a room with a bunch of light so he can't escape, and then they use like magical cloth to like wrap him up, stick him in a sarcophagus so he can't escape. And because he was trying to, this revolution that he was trying to spark was all about class warfare. It's like, you know what? Just to rub it in a little bit more, we're actually going to put you in a tomb with all the pharaohs that you hate so much. You can just overwatch us as we just lie in state and cross over to the next world. But you won't be able to. So, haha, we win. And it's really
that's
sad.
good.
So he's in a pharaoh's tomb off to the side.
That's cool.
So, poor guy. He tried his best and then he screwed him over and he even screwed him over in death. So, really sad. But then we flash forward to modern times and we meet our main characters, which is the archaeologist Steve Jensen, which is a mashup of the two guys from The Hand of the Mummy, his assistant Kurt, and a fellow archaeologist, Marta Slovani, who, as they search for the Tomb of the Pharaohs that we saw at the beginning.
Yes.
But there's like a whisper of like, hey, have you heard of this story of Karis? Like this revolutionary? Like,
Yeah.
they're like, no, that's just a myth. Like, because they got rid of like all of the history. The pharaohs like made sure like no one knew about this revolution.
Yeah.
But of course, some people were there, and so there's like whispers throughout the next 1,000 years about Karis, the revolutionary.
Whispers like clack, 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 clack. Whisper, whisper, whisper.
Yes,
whisper,
as they were making hieroglyphics and tablets, exactly. So there.
Quiet hieroglyphics. Secret. Quiet hieroglyphics. You're good at that.
Anyways, so they're trying to find this tomb with the pharaoh,
Yeah.
and there's some creepy
Do you
guys.
have any casting ideas for Chuboy?
No, but he's roguish, like
Okay.
Brendan Fraser. He's in the same vein as Brendan Fraser's character.
All right.
But I don't have any idea who it might be.
Chris Pratt.
He's very busy. He's got a lot of stuff going on.
2017, you probably could have gotten him.
Possibly, but if we're starting the dark universe, there's no way Disney would allow him to be in another cinematic universe.
Yeah, right.
So, Marta and Steve are kind of like not at odds, but there's definitely some playful flirting, and like she seems like
Mark Wahlberg. You could probably could have gotten Mark Wahlberg.
Mark
for this.
Wahlberg a minute.
Mark Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, Camel, say hello to your mother for me. so
Hey, Apocalypse. Say hi to your mother for me. Oh well. Oh well. Absolutely.
I mummified her.
Apocalypse.
So Marta is like,
See, we're creating our own little dark universe.
we are We're
inside of
we've
this.
We've already done a better job. So Marta is always questions everything Steve comes up with, and it's almost like she's trying to undermine him a little bit, and not trying. She's almost hoping that he doesn't find this tomb. It's kind of weird, but like that's not right. She's here to help. It's weird. There's strife there, but there's chemistry clearly. But also, some creepy guys are kind of, like in and around the dig. You can kind of see some shifty people like, wait a second, something's going on here. And that night, the dig is attacked by this cult of people who seem to, this cult of Karis, who have, been searching for
read
their...
the quiet hieroglyphics.
Yes, who are trying to be lifted up from, this class warfare that's continued on for thousands of years. They think they found something in Karis that his story, Karis could lead them to, to freedom from this, from all this stuff, from their being downtrodden.
Yeah.
But through the struggle, they, accidentally find their way into the tomb and accidentally find them into Karis's tomb off to the side.
Yes.
I was like, what is this? Oh my God, all the whispers were right. Like, this is Karis. Holy crap. This is amazing. No one ever thought this guy was real. Oh, neat. Okay, great. Well, we'll pack all this stuff up and we'll head to the British Museum because everything from everywhere is in the British Museum. Haha. So, off to the British Museum. Where, it was weeks later at this point. There's a big Egyptian event going on. Like, hey, we're opening up a new wing. We got all this Egyptian stuff here. And because you guys found some cool stuff, some of that stuff will be in the exhibit. But much like I just watched John Oliver's episode from a couple weeks ago where they talked about museums having all this stuff in the back they did for a show and they just kind of hold on to stuff, especially the British Museum. We're going to talk about that a little bit because like Karis and I guess the other sarcophagus who doesn't have a mummy in it. I mean, it does have a mummy in it, but it's not going to come to life.
It's got no live mummies inside?
No, because it's the
In
pharaoh.
a mummy movie?
It's the pharaoh.
Come on.
We're not worried about it. He's not a mummy. Karis is the
I
mummy.
know, I'm just messing
It's
with you.
Apocalypse.
It's Apocalypse.
Apocalypse is the other one. It's Apocalypse.
James McAvoy. Let's kiss. God, that movie. When are we doing that movie?
We'll get there.
Ugh.
Well, maybe when X-Men 97 comes out.
Yeah.
4 years later.
So, British Museum, a new exhibit coming out. Everyone's, it's opening night. It's kind of a gala, and our main characters show up to be a part of it because some of their stuff is going to be in it. Most of their stuff isn't, though, and it's all in the back. But also at the gala, oh, I forgot the guy's name. The guy who's the leader of the cult of Karis is Andoheb.
Sure.
Andoheb, which is the name of the bad guy from the actual Hand of the Mummy back in the day. So, haha. He's there with some other cultists or whatever. So they infiltrate the gala stuff.
As we said, we love cults here at Fix It.
Didn't say
Think it's
anything?
great?
I don't know. Okay.
To your freaky cult
Why
selves.
Okay. So, people are talking. They're glad-handed. They're talking about Egypt. They're talking about like, oh, the Karis. The people are whispering about it, stuff like that. And Andoheb finds his way back into all the giant storage area of the British Museum and finds Karis's tomb or sarcophagus, and it's like, oh, it's here. We can free him. Awesome. So he, contacts the rest of his cult members and is like, do it. All the power in the museum gets cut off because apparently also these cultists are very good at staging this stuff and have all this technical information because they have to storm this museum. So all the power gets cut off. Everyone's freaking out because like the building's kind of in lockdown right now because this isn't supposed to happen. And Andoheb frees Karis, and I was like, hey, welcome back to the land of living. It's been 5,000 years. Your work's not done yet. The class warfare you were fighting against all those years ago, It's still happening. In fact, you are in a country right now that stole our heritage and is putting it on display.
Yeah.
And this is a country that is run by a queen that's basically the same thing as a pharaoh. And so Karis, who's been trapped in a box for 5,000 years and just as free as like, you know what? I'm crazy. Let's go. Whee! So he just slinks into the shadows. And since the whole museum is basically in shadows right now, he goes and attacks the gala. And so all these people we just met in the previous scene when our hero with Steve and Marta and Kurt were kind of like, talking to everybody, whatever, start getting picked off one by one, just getting yanked into like this. We're trying to do a actual like horror movie scene here.
Yeah.
Where people getting yanked in the shadows, people getting stabbed through, with shadow. Like it's spooky scary. So our main character's like, oh, we gotta keep your head on a swivel. And so they're kind of trying to figure out how to get around stuff, and like they're kind of getting lucky and like being in like the emergency lights. They're trying to work their way through. But until like Steve gets pulled into the shadow, and just before he's about to get stabbed, he notices who it is, and it's Karis. And he uses some of the language from back in the day because he's an archaeologist.
Yeah.
He says something in the ancient language, and it makes Karis pause, and it disappears. And so Steve and Marta and Kurt are like, I think everything was very much right about Karis being being immortal because okay, we need to figure out a way to get out of here. Well, because if everyone was messing around in the back of the museum, they tripped an anti-theft alarm.
Yeah.
And the whole building's gone into lockdown.
Oh, shit.
So
okay.
No one can get in or out to prevent people from stealing art. So the whole building's locked down. Did you guys ever see the movie The Relic back in the day?
Yes, I've seen The Relic.
I have not.
Okay, it's basically a movie about a monster being loose in a museum at night, and then people just trying to survive the night.
Oh, okay.
Because like something got put into a museum, and they came like, I'm a monster. He's not talking.
Okay.
It's just like a monster, like a dog thing. Just
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm trying to a little bit of that. Like people are now trapped in this museum with a monster, and no one could get out. Everyone's trapped inside. So everyone's freaking out. Karis and Andoheb are trying to find their way out, and they're going through all of the back rooms of the British Museum, and like seeing just all of this stuff as Andoheb is just telling him, by the way, here's what happened to humanity over the past 5,000 years, and he just downloads all of the bad stuff that's been happening for the past 5,000 years. And it's like, hey, the common man, has been put down for the past 5,000 years. Like, it's never gotten better for us. It's just, we're just exploited over and over and over again. And the cycle needs to stop, and you're finally here to do it. And he's like, I'm finally free. Let's do this. I was done then, and I'm super done now. So because we're done. Marta, on the other hand, is now telling everybody, and she seems to know like a little bit more information and a little bit more free with information than she was previously.
She should, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, wait a second, how does she know so much about stuff?
Oh, she's in the cult.
So she's talking about, Karis and what this cult is and Andoheb, but probably they're going after. And I was like, there's a lot of things about ancient Egypt that most people don't know about. Like there's some objects that are, basically weapons of mass destruction, like this MacGuffin and that MacGuffin, and Lord knows also this one. And Steve and Kurt are both like, wait, what? How do you? But there's no time because everyone's trying to find a way out because there's a crazy mummy in here that has with shadow powers that could kill us at any moment.
I mean, it'd be cooler if it had more powers, but I guess if you just that's fine.
Shadow powers.
Right,
that's it. That's it. You can travel through shadows.
They'll let you put nacho cheese on your burger.
It's
they
insane.
will let you do that.
They will let you do that
as much as you want.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Well, you've never done. Just saying.
So.
Yeah, not sponsored by Fun.
Could it though? Get on that. You're our producer. I want to be Fix It, brought to you by Fuddruckers and also Pepperidge Farm. What are we paying you for?
I'm so sorry.
Fuddruckers.
Mr. Ruckers?
You got FUD? You got actual FUD on the phone?
He really likes putting in the blowfish.
So after Marta mentions a couple of these giant MacGuffins that have power or whatever, we flash back to...
What, you mean Darius Rucker?
Anyways, in the back room of the museum, after Marta mentioned a couple of these MacGuffins, of course, our bad guys pass one of these MacGuffins, and for reasons, because Karis is magical, the thing lights up and is now able to be used.
Oh, cool.
So Annab's like, oh, this is the MacGuffin. Oh, pew, oh, it works. Oh, we have a way out. Great. So let's go kill everybody and get out of here.
Kill all the people that
Yes.
went to the party?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So meanwhile, then we flash back.
Oh, because he's on the side of the bad guy.
Yes.
That's right.
So go kill everybody. Let's get out of this museum and start like raising London because we're gonna start here. Great.
Yeah.
These people stole our history. Let's get to them.
Let's get him.
So meanwhile, flashback over to our good guys. They're also trying to find a way out of the museum or whatever. And they're but like everything's locked down. They're like come up with ideas. Maybe go to the control room. That doesn't seem to be working. Everything's like we can't get a line outside. Everything's really bad. Oh no! But that's when Karis attacks. A couple more people die, and Karis takes Marta.
Okay.
So, because something about Marta reminded him of Annika, and so he takes her. There's like it's not a 1-for-1. It's not the
never
same.
a 1-for-1.
It's not the same actress. It's not like Rachel Weisz being the same person from the back in the day. But it's just like an energy. It's like there's something that spark she has a similar spark to Annika.
She's so sexy to mummies.
So Karis takes Marta back to Andoheb, who's trying to find his way out of the museum or find an outside wall to blow up to get out.
Yeah.
And in this time, Andoheb's more like worried about like what the MacGuffin he's got in his hands. That allows Marta and Karis to talk. And now Marta's like, okay, so like basically everything that Andoheb told you, yeah, it happened. There's been a lot of bad the past 5,000 years.
Yeah.
But there's also been a lot of good.
Yeah.
Like we should, I mean, yeah, the system sucks, and it does, but we have made improvements.
Yes.
There's a lot of really good people out there that don't deserve to just die. And
Yeah.
if Andoheb uses that thing, a lot of the people you're thinking you're fighting for are going to get hurt and probably killed.
Yeah.
So like
You're no better than what happened to you.
exactly. You're the one with power, and how are you going to use that? You're just going to hurt people the same way the people with power back in the day hurt you.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, that's good.
yes. So at the moment, but Andrew doesn't hear this. He's worried about other cultists, but trying to get out of the museum. So everyone reconverges back in the foyer of the museum because that's the easiest. The door's right there. I'll just blast the door open. Then we'll just start blowing up London.
Yeah.
Everyone meets up there, and now we can have a cool like horror, but more of 97 Mummy version of like a hot potato with the MacGuffin.
Yes.
So everyone's kind of fighting around or whatever, and Andoheb realizes that Karis isn't really doing what he used to do, like an hour or so ago. Like Karis is involved in stuff, but like he doesn't have the same like stabby attitude he had earlier.
Doesn't have quite the sharp wit that he started with.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
So Andoheb finally gets the thing back, blows open the front of the British Museum, steps outside, and this is the moment when Marta's like, Andoheb, he's gonna kill so many people because the police are outside. Like everything's, everyone's like, free, blah, blah. He's like, I have the power. I'm going to because screw you guys. I'm going to take the power for myself.
Yeah.
And Marta's like, this is it, Karis. We need your help. And so Karis is like, has a moment, and is like, this has been an insane couple of hours. I've only been free for 6 hours, but you're right. I don't know anything about this world. You're right, and you remind me a lot about my beloved wife.
Yeah.
So he slinks into the shadows, and because of all the strobe lights and stuff like that, he sneaks up behind Andoheb and pulls him into the shadows, and the MacGuffin clacks to the ground. We don't see Andoheb again.
Oh, wow, okay.
So everyone rushes in the museum. All the guys rush out, like, oh, thank God, we're free. Yay!
Yeah,
Marta hugs her dad. Who's this guy? This is the first guy we've meeting this guy. Hi. Oh, okay, we'll talk to you in a second. Wrap everything up. Go back into the museum. Steve, Kurt, and Marta like meet up with Karis, who's like in the corner. He's like, I'm really sorry about everything. I don't want to be here. This is.
Yeah, no.
You got to put me back. I'm done. This is too much for me. So they go, okay, we'll do that for now. But I think there's hope for you. We
might need you later.
Well, that's not yet. So they put him back in the sarcophagus, and then we're like, okay, the movie's done, and everyone's like, friends and great, we had an adventure, but this was kind of crazy. Bah, magic's real. Blah 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 blah. Credits, mid credits, we're seeing kicks in, and we go back to seeing Marta's dad, who is just going to cut to that fact that it is Henry Jekyll.
Oh, okay.
That's my dad, Henry Jekyll, and they don't like. It's just kind of like, what? It's like blah 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 blah. I just and the sarcophagus, Karis' sarcophagus is there because they're kind of in that big.
It's kind of like rolling by.
Yes.
Like, oh, cool.
And you see like prodigium or whatever. There's like, yeah, here's things are going on. Marta, actually, that isn't actually Marta's real name, or her last name isn't actually Slavani. It's Jekyll.
Sure.
She is my daughter. You guys stumbled upon something we were hoping would never be found.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on here. But we've been an organization that's been around for hundreds of years, eliminating monsters. Basically, like, we're called Prodigium, but that's a hard word to say. We know, but it was cool back in the day, but it's kind of hard to say nowadays. People don't really call us that anymore. The common vernacular for us now is we're called the Monster Squad.
I just got goosebumps.
Now, I looked it up. Monster Squad is not done by Universal.
No, that's why the monsters look differently.
Yes.
Because they had to get around how they look. They had to use the monsters, but not Universal.
It's almost as if they should have stopped.
First of all, Wolfman's Got Nards is an incredible documentary.
Yes. So my Dark Universe fix is that we are building towards the Monster Squad.
All right.
Oh man, I want to see this movie so bad.
And Karis
That's
is a
really
good guy.
good. That's a good flick, dude.
And Karis comes out and is like, hey, in the same scene, like, Karis can kind of come out and he can be a part of it. And it's like, we take care of the things that go bump in the night.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. We're the Monster Squad.
Rock until you drop.
So, because I wanted a mummy redemption story. Because Karis is like a good, like, they keep trying to,
He's a good bad mummy.
yeah, good
He's
bad
a
mummy.
bad good mummy.
No, he's a good guy who got mummified. He was doing bad things for the right reason, or
Yeah.
for good reasons. And
He's
then-
like Batman mummy.
yes.
Yeah. Vengeance.
Yeah. Karis, good guy. So we
Okay,
have a
cool.
good guy mummy on our
That's
team.
really good. I like
Because
that a
they
lot.
wanted to have like Tom Cruise as being like a god of death by the end. Because that, by
It's
the way,
too much.
it's too much. That takes away. Oh, he can't die, and he can just any character that dies around him, he can be like, no, he's fine. No, you're fine. There's no stakes with that character being
Yeah.
around. So why would you even? It's a bad idea. But good mummy on the good guys team for whatever happens next in the Monster Squad universe.
Oh man, Stephen King rules. I love that movie.
Monster Squad.
Excellent. Very, very well done.
Thanks, dude.
That's really good. I mean, you could have more powerful mummy, but other than that.
The Karis
They
could
got
have had
red
more
onion.
powers.
They got all kinds of tomatoes. You don't even have to get a burger. You can get a brat. You can get whatever the hell you want.
Sure, you got three types of mustard. Yeah.
That's right, baby.
Yeah.
Ooh woo! It came to party here at Fuddruckers.
Mm-hmm. You put the mustard on the patty, right? And then you just spin the patty around, so it's.
Oh
got
yeah,
equal
Brian,
to-
have you experimented with spinning the hot dog yet?
I haven't had a hot dog since that episode aired.
Oh okay.
But next time
My chat keeps asking me if you've tried the hot dog trick.
I haven't had a hot dog yet, but I'll go out of my way to have a hot dog.
All right, see that you do.
You can do the same thing with a hamburger. Just put it on the
What
patty.
are we paying
and
you
then-
for, Brian? Do the damn hot dog spin.
Is this the director of marketing for Fuddruckers?
Do you guys have hot dogs too?
Okay, Jay, your turn.
All right. Okay. So the what I was going for with my fix is that like what I was saying earlier is that I think the Dark Universe is a unique opportunity for Universal to like kind of rejoice in the history of the movies that they've made.
Yes.
And I think and I'm going to lean a lot heavier into the concept of like their bureau. I'm just going to call it the bureau because I think that's a better term.
Progenium.
Progenium, forget it. It's like prodigium. I'm sorry.
Prodigium?
That sounds like
Monster Squad.
that sounds like prodigium sounds like a real it's for rickets or something, and it's like a commercial for like, do you suffer from rickets? Try prodigium. Okay, so my movie opens up in an extraordinarily drab office setting. We see a nameless person walk into a room, sit at like one of the desks, and you see another person walk into the room, lower a projection screen, and start like an old projector movie.
Okay.
And the movie pops up, and the movie begins. Like the first like half hour of this movie is a shot-for-shot remake of the first like 30 minutes of the original Mummy movie.
The original one.
The original 1932, Brian.
Actually, no, correct.
It is a shot-for-shot remake of that of their original Mummy movie.
Okay.
Which basically you have a Sir Joseph Wemple and his friend Dr. Muller.
Muller and Wemple.
Muller and Wemple.
The famous archaeology team of Muller and Wemple.
I know it's terrible, but that's
Esquire.
yeah, yeah, and they are. It is a shot for shot of them trying to find Imhotep,
Right.
and they find that they eventually find the tomb. They find the casket. They figure out that there's a curse on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they open up the tomb, they find the scroll of Thoth. And as Sir Joseph Wemple reads from the scroll, Imhotep, comes back from the dead as a mummy. And basically, what it says in the actual like plot synopsis, it snaps Norton's mind, Norton Muller, and he basically laughs himself to death, which is fascinating. I thought that was very interesting.
Wow. Okay.
But it shows him like absorbing the two of them and coming back to life.
Sure.
And then it cuts to 10 years later where Imhotep has basically he has integrated himself like into modern society a little bit as like kind of an undead mummy.
Sure.
And he shows their children where the tomb of his like long lost love is.
Oh.
And where
okay.
to go find that stuff and
Sure.
dig that up. The problem is that they go and they dig it up and then they give all of it to the British Museum instead of him.
Wait. Did you have that on? Did you do it on your own? Is that the
No,
movie?
that is the movie.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or no, to the Cairo Museum. I'm sorry.
Ah.
At least in this movie, but in my movie, it's the British Museum. Just because it just speaks to a larger theme of, and that's kind of what's playing right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're all kind of turning our heads at museums now. We're like, I don't know any more about this. And so basically, like Imhotep is like disappears back into modern society.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's a shot-for-shot remake of the old movies, kind of all the old camp. It really just like relishes in like these old monster movies. And then we see like this is the first like 20 minutes of the movie, and I like the idea that like you can kind of see the skips in like the film sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And like it's
like
a little
Werewolf by Night. We could see like some of the
it's
film
a little
grain.
it's a little trashy sometimes.
Like what?
Werewolf
By night.
Um,
Wemple and Muller, have you been injured by a mummy? Do you or your loved ones have any injuries done by a mummy?
well, then you deserve compensation. Call us here at Wemple and Muller. And so the like that like little part of the movie like cuts out and it's like the end and like the lights come back up and we see it's Jake Johnson sitting in the chair. I'm keeping the cast.
Okay.
Just for my own sanity.
Sure.
It's like I wanted to see if I can make Tom Cruise work in this, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Because that like after that photo shoot, this was set in stone. There was no changing Tom Cruise.
That's fair. Yes.
So Jake Johnson is like very clearly like, cool. So what's happening here? And then we cut to the person that's kind of giving the presentation, and it's Brendan Fraser. Like Brendan Fraser now.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, and he's just like, I thought it was obvious, but like, mummies are real. At least some of them are real. It's a long story. This is just getting you up to speed. And then we see them walk out of like the drab room, and he starts getting like a walking tour of our like monster squad, quote unquote. And he's filling him in like
it's catching on. It feels pretty good to say, right?
Like you are going to be part. You're going to be a part. This is like you're going to be part of the Egyptian,
wing,
Egyptian wing of, this collective and blah blah blah, and getting him up to speed, informing him that like there have been priceless objects, Egyptian objects that have been started to being stolen in London. So we're probably going to be sending you and a good amount of your squad, like a good amount of your monster squad, out to London to investigate. And then I think we roll opening credits and we kind of see like some news reports of like London, like what's been stolen, yada yada yada. Mm-hmm. And then we open on the blonde girl. What's her name? Brian, hit me with her name. Annabelle Wallace. What else has she been in?
Annabelle Wallace?
Yeah, I feel
she
like
was in one of the Annabelle movies.
Okay, that's an easy way to remember her name, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways,
so on this, the Egyptian squads.
No. The credits roll. We open up on a totally new thing. Annabelle Wallace, Tom Cruise.
Oh, I was about to say. Okay, so Tom Cruise is not there in the opening.
No.
Okay, it's just Jake Johansson and just
Jake Johnson.
Jake Johnson, and just to clarify,
Brendan Fraser
is not the same character.
It's not explained.
It's not explained. It's amorphous at the moment.
Okay,
it's just a friendly face everyone recognizes.
It is more of a. I can answer your question. It is not the mummy. Yeah. Brendan Fraser. It is Universal acknowledging we made these other movies.
Yes. Okay.
Isn't this awesome that he's now the head of the Egyptian wing of this like monster
squad? Yeah. Got it. Awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's Universal relishing in its own history.
Yes, got
it. So Tom Cruise, Annabelle Wallace, they walk into they're in London, mm-hmm. obviously, and they walk into like a very ornate antiquities store. And they're looking around and they're trying to find they find like a creepy assistant. They're like, we just need to like talk to like the manager of the store, and they're like, hi, I'm Apocalypse. Yeah, hi, would you like to buy some Persian rugs or something? Apocalypse. What's up, guys? Hey,
are you doing anything like that?
Oh, do you guys like urns? We got a lot of urns. Oh, anyways, you guys smoke hookah? I hate Me Too. So they eventually find the purveyor of the store.
Sure.
Sharply dressed, mm-hmm. beautiful, ornate, like handmade suit, like sharp cufflinks. We're talking like cut, like just looking absolutely fabulous.
Sure.
It becomes very clear very quickly that this is our mummy.
Oh, it's Imhotep.
This is Imhotep.
Yeah.
And he is looking like a young Yul Brynner, like looking good. And he's very well spoken.
Sure.
And it comes to light that Tom Cruise and Annabelle Wallace are they are part of the like antiquities ring of the FBI. And so they're like, we're here on assignment. We're assisting with MI6 on some of their missing relics, and like we'd really, and I like the idea of Imhotep being extraordinarily like, he's very flippant about it, and he's just like, well, these weren't yours to begin with, and I think that starts the like, these aren't yours, like, oh, you send things to the British Museum, and all of a sudden like possession becomes is really fluid until it's very not, and he's just like very casual,
sure.
But it becomes he's doing the majority of the talking to Tom Cruise as Annabelle's kind of like roaming the store.
Yes. And
she pops back up and Imhotep locks with her, and there's just a flash between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like there were some of I know that you think her looking at him and like kind of entrancing him was stupid, but I like the idea of Imhotep seeing something in her, in his like long lost love that he was trying to resurrect.
Yeah.
Because it's a running theme in mummy stuff.
It is.
It just is.
Yeah.
It's never a 1-for-1. It doesn't need to be.
Mummies have big hearts.
Yeah.
Big hearts. Sometimes they're missing.
He sees something in her and he kind of enthralls her. But Tom Cruise doesn't notice, and they're like, well, if anyone would know where like you're the perfect fence for these items, and he's like, I assure you I've never seen them, like, you're more than welcome to check my books.
Yeah, of course.
He's very good about it, and they're like, okay, but like we're watching it, and he's like, I wouldn't. Of course you are.
Yeah.
Like, look at this place, it's spectacular. Like, he's very good at it. And they walk out, and I like the idea that they walk by as they're walking back to where they're staying. They walk by like the British Museum, and they like see one of the security guards like getting off, like leaving his shift.
Right.
And they're just like, oh hey, like it's very clear that they know him. Like, oh hey Eddie, what's up? Like, you're just getting off. It's like, oh yeah, the detectives. Hey, oh yeah, it was a pretty boring shift. Not a lot of stuff moves in there. It's pretty boring, right? And they're like, yeah. Like, I imagine in my head it's like Lil Rel. I just like Lil Rel.
Yeah.
Or it'd have to be someone British. Probably it's the British Museum. But they're like, okay, cool. See you later. They maybe they go out for a pint if you want a little flavor.
Okay.
And Annabelle's kind of acting weird during that.
Sure.
But they all go home, go to sleep, and the next shot is Tom Cruise waking up to a phone call, and it's from Lil Rel, and Lil Rel is like,
British Lil Rel.
Hey, was there like did Truth or Dare go wrong or something last night? He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I've got Annabelle here. And for some reason, she is just passed out in the Egyptian wing. Like, do you want to come get her? She says she doesn't remember how she got here, but I assume like it was a prank or something. Like, I didn't say anything, but like I could get in huge trouble for this.
Yeah.
He goes and picks her up, and she has no recollection as to why she's got there.
Yeah.
But, and then they're having a conversation and blah blah blah, and she's like, yeah, and I just like woke up in front of the scroll of Thoth, and Tom Cruise is like, how did you know what that was? You don't remember how you got there, but you know exactly where you woke up in front of. And she's like, yeah, the scroll of Thoth. And like, she just starts spitting like, she just starts saying like how to
Mercury, just like
she's got just barfing up mercury. Yeah, absolutely. She's just like spewing all this information. And that spooks the two of them.
Sure.
And then I like the idea of Jake Johnson and showing up and being like, hey, hi. Like, I like the idea of him being a part of this, like, much like how we're trying to establish this bureau to the audience.
Sure.
I like the idea that, like, he's also getting off to a rocky start and is not very good at it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, hey guys, heard you saw some weird stuff, huh? Like, he's just like in true whatever he would bring to the table on that. He's like, hey guys, and then they're like, why? Like, we're FBI. Like,
who are you? Yeah.
Who are you? And he's just like, just can you guys just, hey, mommy's there. You know what? No, like, it does not go well. But he eventually convinces Tom and Annabelle to come back with him. And basically they get the rundown of all the things that have been stolen throughout London were relics that were needed for him to perform the resurrection spell that he was trying to do in the original movie.
Yes, all those MacGuffins.
All the MacGuffins. And so they basically find out that there is one more thing that he needs.
Of course,
it's like
only
there's
one
more MacGuffin.
One more left.
Let's say a dagger.
One more again.
A dagger.
Sure,
why
of course,
not?
yeah. It's always a dagger.
And they find out, and they're like, "Oh, well, you guys are gonna like Annabelle has already been corrupted, so she can't go."
And they know that now.
He's like, "Oh, she's been." I think that's how he convinces her, and because he's just like, "Oh, she's just spouting about the scroll of Thoth, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, this is bad. We gotta go." They're like, "Oh, she can't come, so it's gonna be you and me, Tom and Jake." And they were like, okay, we're gonna have to infiltrate the Gray Mansion and blah 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 and go through all this thing, and like here's like the rundown of where we're gonna go and yada yada yada.
So Imhotep lives in a mansion.
No, this isn't. Imhotep's gonna be trying to steal this thing. So
I'm sorry. Yes,
they're trying to steal it first.
Okay.
And they're like, wait. Tom Cruise is like, wait, the Gray Mansion, and Jake's like, yeah, Dorian Gray, you've heard of him, right? And then cut to them like staking out this mansion, and I like that they have to break in, but eventually like their man in van like kind of sees like Imhotep on his way, and they're making their way through. Before Imhotep gets there, they make their way. It's very like they basically break into like kind of a hedonistic party like in action. Like in all sorts of it's kind of like an Eyes Wide Shut situation.
Oh, so an orgy.
I was trying to say it without saying it, but yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Say no more, say no more. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
Know what I mean?
yeah.
No,
that Christmas cheer, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, my mom started talking like that today with me on the phone.
What can I say? I'm very funny.
She's like a little bit of those snobs. Like, Mom, don't listen to Jay so much. Listen to my jokes.
But I like the idea that they realize they're like, we can't really rob this place. There's all these people here. They make their way to like the center, and Jake and Tom kind of they finally meet Dorian Gray in his study.
Okay.
And he's in like a big, a huge ornate chair, and he's not really taking part of everything, but he just likes having it around.
Of
He's like,
course, yeah.
It's nice.
You
to
know how
have
many
this
of these
stuff.
hedonistic parties he's been to?
Yeah,
a lot.
I just host them now at this point. It's, but obviously there's a painting above the mantle with just a curtain over it, but like it's spooky. I like the idea of, he has the dagger with him. And he makes
on his person.
Yes.
Okay.
He makes a deal with the two of them, specifically with Tom. Like they're having a conversation going back and forth about what could possibly go wrong. He's like, honestly, like monsters come and go in this city. Like do you know how many things I've seen at this point? Like it's just another thing. He's like, if you really want to stop,
Have they put together that it's the Dorian Gray from the books?
It's pretty
okay.
Clear. Yeah. Well, because they say it before they go there.
Okay.
At least Jake is aware of it, and Tom isn't totally sure. And he basically sees something in Tom that's just like, I'm gonna give you this dagger because there's just something about you. I just feel like I'm gonna need a favor from you at some point. Hands him the dagger and sends him on his way. But as like they get sent on their way, like Imhotep like enters the building, and I like the idea of them walking through a hunter's hall of like all taxidermied animals, and like Imhotep being there makes all the taxidermied like mummies come out, and like they're so spooky scary, and they have to like run away from like taxidermied monsters attacking them.
Sure, because
like,
he's part lich.
Yeah, because they're like mummies.
Yeah,
they're kind of like mummies.
Kind of like mummies.
They've been mummified,
kind of
put
like
up for
mummies.
our display in love. They make their way out.
Making my
way. They have found like all of, basically they have found all of the relics, and they're bringing it back to the main base.
Sure.
But the problem is that as they've been doing there, Imhotep going there was just kind of like a stall, in that Annabelle, like while she was still there, has basically like been like rounding up all of the other relics that they have captured, and is basically like absconded with them. And so but she has been acting like she was kidnapped, and it's like, oh, you have to like bring the dagger or he'll kill me, even though like she's just like obviously just like driving a van to the British Museum.
Sure.
And so we get to the British Museum, and I think Imhotep has like set up the entire ritual, and then I think there's like as they fight their way towards the ritual. I like the idea of there's a lot of mummy fighting in the museum on their way to get there.
Okay.
But the mummies not only are trying to fight the two of them, they're also like smashing things, like they are smashing, like doing damage, but also looting to take stuff back with them.
Oh.
So they're like trying to like save stuff for the museum and like trying to like maintain this thing when they're like, this is kind of ours. And so like as an audience member, we're supposed to be like, I don't know how I feel about this. This is kind of weird. And we get to a point where like Imhotep is like ready to like prepare the ritual, but Tom gets there and they have their little fight. And then through that, like accidentally Annabelle gets stabbed.
Oh no!
As always. But like as she gets stabbed, like Tom kind of takes out Imhotep and grabs the scroll. And he has the scroll like above him, and he was just like, I'm gonna send you back to hell, like where you belong. And like as he starts like reading the things off of the scroll,
right,
Jake's like, no, don't. Like he doesn't realize what he's doing. He thinks he's like reversing the curse, but as he's reading it, it basically like Imhotep like dissolves, but like basically reforms inside of Tom Cruise.
Oh no!
And then Tom Cruise, like, it realizes he's like, oh no. Oh no. And he realizes that she's dying, and the only way to get her back is to actually perform the ritual that they've been trying to stop the entire time. That would like solidify like the next coming of Imhotep. And so he performs the ritual to bring her back to life. But he's like, I'm the mummy now. Oh no. Oh crap. Like, beans. I'm the mummy now. Like, an Imhotep's gone. It's like, and they bring him back to base. And then I think that's where, at the tail end of this movie, we have the meeting with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
Like, bringing him into the full thing and being like, so, okay, we've been fighting against Imhotep in a while. Now you're technically Imhotep, and I guess you're on our side? You're on our side, right? Like, and I like the idea of just, like, it's very bureaucratic.
Yes.
And it's like, I like the idea of there being, like, a lot of red tape. Like, you need to sign here, you need to sign here. Like, I don't know, what we're gonna, And, like, Brendan Fraser is like, crap. I didn't know we were actually gonna have a mummy at some point. Oh no. Like what do we do now? It's like, I don't know, if you want to go fight vampires? Like, I like the idea of no one really being good at their job there, really. Like, and
they're doing their best.
They're doing their best, but like Russell Crowe is almost too good of an actor to be in these movies.
Yes.
Like, I like the idea of of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde that, like, I almost want like a Zach Galifianakis. Do you know what I'm saying? Where it's like kind of bumbling.
Yes.
But like when he turns into Hyde, it's actually really scary.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like the idea of like them getting a really rocky start to this.
Yeah.
But I just love, I don't know. I just wish that it'd be just have a little more fun.
Yes.
And that's kind of my mummy movie.
So you ended it at the same place they did in the real movie. But
Yes.
got there in a much better way. He's
Yes.
not the god of death.
I liked the idea that Tom was like the quote unquote mummy now. I thought that was fun. I thought it could work. I thought that's how you make movies going forward. You have Tom Cruise as the mummy. I mean, like,
not set the god of death.
Yeah.
That can just takes away the stakes of
Whatever
the
that means.
entire universe.
yeah, it's really stupid.
Woof.
Whiff.
Well, Jay, we did it.
We did it.
And amazingly, we had a lot of similar little things in our.
Yeah, I really liked yours, Lashy. Mine was fine, but yours was really good. I want to watch that movie.
Oh, cool. I didn't need some fleshing out to make things.
No,
relevant,
but I think that was really cool.
because Cars has not been mentioned. He was
No,
in
it's
he was
really
in
good.
3 of the movies back in the day.
No.
Like he is.
I will say this: of all the fixes we have done so far,
Yeah.
I think that's the one we could actually sell.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
I think we've reached a part of the show in which in a studio setting when we have Brian here.
Yes.
I think we've gotten to the point where Brian tells us where we've lied. Fact checks with Brian, brought to you by Fuddruckers. Yeah, did you get him on the horn?
Oh yeah, we got him.
Okay, great.
All right.
A couple more months.
All right, hit us, Brian.
Switch. Hello. Okay, so hello, gentlemen.
Whipple and Muller.
Whipple and Muller. Adam, I agree. I also like rules in movies.
That's not what you're here for.
No, sorry.
If you're gonna come in here and just agree with Adam the whole time, I gotta.
Hey, as long as you pull the chair, right?
As a reminder, Kurtzman, who directed this, also wrote Amazing Spider-Man 2, which suffers from a lot of the same issues where they forgot to make a movie and just made like a sequel machine.
Yeah.
This movie is 110 minutes. So technically it's over 100 minutes, but that's probably because of the credits and stuff like that. Yeah. This is also a time when I say, hey, Fuddruckers, producer Brian here. Feel free to support us and sponsor the podcast because we'd love to be able to put all the toppings on the burgers. Thank you. And then just as a reminder, Dorian Gray is technically not a Universal property, but neither was Jekyll, so that doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Those are just.
I think they're public domain.
They're public domains. So, but they're part of they're usually listed when you list spooky things and monsters. And they're both obviously in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I thought Jay might have been going in that direction.
Yeah. And then, of course, you asked what else Annabelle Wallace is in.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I just want to just for Adam to begin. The Invisible Man movie I mentioned previously, the one with Elizabeth Moss, was produced by Blumhouse, but it was distributed by Universal. And then Javier Bardem was supposed to be Frankenstein. So I'm correcting myself. Because they were just going to make a Bride of Frankenstein movie, I believe. Just so they can get, started there. Yeah, exactly. Start with the sequel. Perfect idea. And then Annabelle Wallace, she was also in X-Men First Class.
As who?
She was the girl at the bar that Xavier's hitting on with the two different colored eyes, and he's like doing his genetics line.
All right.
She's also in Peaky Blinders. She played Jane Seymour on The Tudors.
Peaky Blinders, the #1 show that I think everyone pretends to watch when people everyone's like, "You're watching Peaky Blinders, right?" Oh yeah, with the blinders.
Also, Annabelle Wallace is in the horror movie Malignant. And if you want a great podcast episode about Malignant, talking horror,
get in there.
No, Shadow Powers.
He's going to tell. He's going to tell. He's going to tell.
No singing. No singing. No singing on the podcast.
Oh. Well, we did it.
We did do it.
We did the Mummy.
We fixed the mummy. We fixed the mummy. I have heard, I think I saw an article somewhere that they're possibly thinking about doing another Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser. Because Fraser is finally getting the attention he deserves.
Yeah. We never stopped liking Brendan Fraser.
Never did.
And Fraser is getting a reboot series as well.
Wait, what?
So yeah, it's the Rise of the Fraser.
Are you
Rise
serious?
of Fraser.
A reboot series.
Well, not a reboot. It's like a requel or whatever you want to call it.
They're gonna more.
Yeah, man. Of course they are.
Oh, God.
They just want to print money, man. I don't care.
God.
All right.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think if you were going to try and do a dark universe, I think that this movie completely forgot that all of these IPs, these identities, are based on horror movies.
Yeah.
They don't have to be crazy scary, but you have to lean into the dark, spooky horror aspect.
Yeah, it needs to be scary.
Yeah, like Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman. These are Werewolves by Night. These are
Iconic
spooky,
horror movies.
Iconic things.
Yeah.
So, lean into that. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it, my man.
I think we did it, Jay.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Hey, if you are listening to any of this on the podcatchers of your choice, from iTunes to Spotify or what have you, if you wouldn't mind writing a quick review for us, maybe giving us 5 stars if you so choose. It actually is a huge help. That would be amazing. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, remember to subscribe, hit that bell, and do that YouTube that you do so well. You know what you're supposed to do on YouTube if you like something. You're not an idiot. Make it happen. And as we end every episode here at Fix It, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
It's the slow MacGuffin dagger that brings back the mummy apocalypse that you never see coming, Jay.
Brought to you by Fuddruckers.
Just because you can put all the toppings on it doesn't mean you have to.
And Pepperidge Farm.
I know!
Bye, guys.
We're gonna get in so much trouble.